Hello everyone and welcome to the review of the Simtoo Fairy air camera quadcopter. This is a selfie class quadcopter. There's no information on the box whatsoever, so we are going to jump further to see what we get inside. So there's a manual with a small hex key, micro USB cable, the LiPo battery. It's a 2-cell battery, 970 milliamps hour. It looks to be a high voltage battery because of the maximum charge voltage, which is not 8.4 volts, it's 8.7 volts, so this charges to a higher voltage than regular LiPos. That should provide it with a better flight time than regular LiPos and smaller quads like this. Hopefully we'll see that. And the charger, which outputs 1 amp, so this battery should fully charge in about 1 hour, considering it has almost 1 amp and this is 1 amp. Add more or less, but that's an average of time it will take to charge it. Right, so the quadcopter is foldable, folding arms and folding propellers, just like that. And it looks to me a lot like the Zero Tech or Zero Tech Dobby quadcopter. The propellers actually look exactly the same design and the same shape, and I think they are the same size also. It uses brushless motors, which is a very good thing because they will not wear out fast as regular brushed motors, so that's a good thing. And there are some instructions inside there, not much to be seen. The quadcopter also has a camera. It films in full HD. The camera is manual tiltable, so you can adjust it by hand. There's no tilt mechanism. While this second camera here, it's used for optical flow positioning, so it will keep the drone in a locked position indoor without having any kind of GPS signal, which should be a nice thing to have working, and we are going to test that if it works or not. And you also get a nice controller inside the box, and this supports also your mobile phone, which will sit here, and this thing goes a lot of way here, so it will adapt to large phones. It has kind of basic controls, only 3 buttons, turn on or off, and it has a built-in battery, charges by the micro USB port there. And it has this wheel here, which I don't know if it does anything. We are going to test that, so let's move on. And now I'm going to install the battery. It just clips in like that. The quadcopter also has a micro USB port here, so you can insert a micro SD card. It will save video and photos on it, high quality ones, while the app will provide also backup copy on your mobile phone at a lesser resolution, but should be nice because you can have a backup on your mobile phone in case things go wrong. Hopefully they won't. Alright, so now I'm going to power on the transmitter first. Or no, let's try something else. I'm going to power on the quadcopter first. Alright, and now I should see its wireless network here, and there it is. I'm going to connect to it, and it's now connected, and I'm going to open the app. It's called Fairy, and that's the app. I'm going to press connect. Alright, and you can choose mobile phone or remote controller, so I'm going to select mobile phone, and we get a warning that there is no SD card inserted and media will be stored on the control device, so it will save on the mobile phone. We already know that. And there's image already. Image looks very clear, very sharp. but it has some hiccups. So now it's fluid, then it freezes a bit, and then it's fluid again. It's interesting that the lag is not that high, but sometimes it just freezes the image for a moment. Right, so in the app we get the working mode, which is now optical, so it has optical positioning, GPS signal strength, 0 satellites, battery level. I don't know what 0.3 meters is. Probably it's the height of the quadcopter, but it's strange that it shows 0.3 meters while it has not taken off yet. And this is probably the horizontal distance, and those will probably different when this thing flies. And what is this button? GPS Asha cannot return to home. Right, so that is return to home. This is photo and video recording button. It switches the working modes. The gallery shows what pictures you have taken with the drone. And we have auto takeoff, automatic landing, and this will take a photo or start video recording. This button here changes the stick styles on your mobile phone screen if you use the mobile phone app. So you have regular controls, you have an imitation of joystick controls, and you also have tilt control, and that's about it in case you are flying with the mobile phone. If you are using the controller that's provided, you have control on that. Let's see what else the app does. So this thing will just hide the extra settings here, and we have these settings here, and we have joystick settings. You have American mode and Japan mode. This is mode 2 and mode 1 probably, yes. Right, sensitivity settings, primary, intermediate, advanced. So this thing actually dictates the speed of your quadcopter, the maximum speed. So on primary it goes to 0.5 meters per second, 1 meter per second, and 2 meters per second. But you cannot change those. Probably they can only be changed in flight. Calibration settings, so unfold and follow the instructions for calibration. Let's see, I'm going to try a calibration. So the table here, it's level, and I'm going to press calibration successful. Right, so that's it. Probably it's just a gyro. Yes, accelerometer is just the gyro calibration, nothing more, nothing less. And camera settings, camera, it's only photographing mode, single shot, burst shot, or delay shot. I wonder if I change to video camera, if I go to settings. Nope, it's only photographing mode, so you cannot change any kind of settings of the camera. The camera only can take several photos or have a delay shot, and that's it. So those are all the settings, and that's the app. I don't see anything else you can do with it. Only these frequency settings, so you can switch to 5.8 gigahertz or 2.4 gigahertz, and that's all. There it is. So that's the app. So it's now time to fully charge the battery and take this thing outside for a test flight to see how it performs and how it films. So here I am with the Fairy quadcopter. We're at the flying field, and I'm going to prepare it for the maiden flight. Hopefully all things are going to be fine. So battery is now connected. I'm going to use the transmitter for this test flight because it's more convenient. And this phone, if you are wondering, has a 6-inch screen, so it's rather large, but it still fits on this support. It doesn't allow tilt, but it holds it very well. And I'm going to power the transmitter on. I'm going to power the quadcopter. Okay, and last but not least, I'm going to connect to the wireless of the quadcopter with my mobile phone. Wireless is now connected, and I'm going to open the app. I'm going to press on connect. I'm going to select the remote controller, and there you go. We have image already. It's in optical mode for now. It's not in GPS. GPS will take a bit of time to connect, and while it's connecting, I'm going to prepare a launch pad for the quad. I'm going to use my backpack. I'm going to create kind of a stable platform because the quadcopter is very small and it will hit the grass with the propellers, and that may break the propellers or prevent the drone from taking off. Landing will be more fun, and it's still in optical mode. I'm going to wait for GPS to lock on. Until then, I'm going to select video recording mode for the camera. And I have 4 satellites, still in optical, 5 satellites. I'm going to wait a bit some more, 7. I don't know why it says still optical at 7 satellites. Usually you should have a GPS lock. There are some drones that can fly with 3-4 satellites. Oh well, I'm going to wait a bit some more. Eight satellites, still says optical. Nine satellites, so it does get a lot of satellites for signal. I'm going to start video recording anyway, so I do not forget to do that. And even though it says optical, I'm going to take off. So I'm going to unlock the motors. And up into the air it goes. As you can see, it's extremely stable. This is still optical mode, it's not GPS mode. So until it gets some GPS, I'm going to fly it gently here. It's a bit breezy, but this thing seems to handle it just fine. Alright, so now we have also GPS lock. It's in GPS mode. Let's bring it closer. Now let's see how well it locks into place. So it's okay-ish. Yes, it is a GPS lock, but as you can see, sometimes it will go a bit in one direction, then return. It's not the perfect GPS hover that you get on some quadcopters, but still, it's a fine lock, and it's pretty resistant to external factors. Now I'm going to get some altitude. Let's see how well it stays there in the air. Oh, I'm going to do a slow panning around, get some footage of the sunrise. I'm going to go even higher I'm at 40 meters with this little thing, and all seems fine. So I'm going to do some slow panning again to get some footage. Looks good on the phone. I'm going to stop the video recording now, and I'm going to switch it to photo mode, and I'm going to take some snapshots around so you can get a glimpse of the camera image quality. And that's against the sun, a camera worst nightmare. That's partially into the light, and some of that. There should be plenty. Now let's bring it closer again, and I'm going to resume video recording. This thing being so small, I don't want it to get down too fast, because it can create some nasty vortexes, and it can flip into the air maybe, but usually they don't like going down too fast if you are going in just horizontal. Usually if you want to get down fast and you want to lose altitude, you should also get some speed in one direction or do some large circles. Alright, so that was the height test. Not a height test, but it does perform well even at 40 meters. GPS holds it in place, it does not fly away. For a quadcopter that small, it's pretty good. It's pretty good that it fights the wind. And let's see now. It has a bit of toilet bowl effect, as you can see. It tries to find a spot to stay there, but it has a bit of variations. It will settle, and it's kind of a stable quadcopter, but not the most stable quadcopter that I have tested. Speed-wise, this is about maximum that it can do. Not that greatest speed, but it's enjoyable to fly. Hello there. And being so small, it's also really nimble. You can fly it in tight spots between trees, no problem there. Only that the FPV on the mobile phone, it's not the best. Oh, you have seen that branch? Yes, it wanted to catch my drone. Very nasty branch. So the FPV looks good on the phone. It's very sharp, but it's also a bit choppy. I don't know if it's related to my phone or the app version, or it's just a feature of this drone, but it does show you good image. I would have preferred it to be less choppy. Of course, you don't fly this FPV truly, so it doesn't kind of really matter how choppy it is or not. So I'm trying to go through that trees there without hitting any branch, and I'm only using the phone. I'm not watching the quadcopter, so it passed to the trees and I can now bring it back to me without hitting them. So yes, choppy, but it works. You can fly this only in FPV, which is great, and flight time is also decent for its small size. The battery shows 59%, and I think that it has around 6 minutes or 8 minutes of flight until now, since I have took off, and that's pretty decent. Usually you expect something like 8 minutes flight time from small stuff like this, because the battery is very small, motors are very small, and there is a compromise between weight, power, battery size. It's actually really enjoyable flight, and it's very silent. It's not noisy at all. There are some smaller quadcopters that make a real noise. This thing is really silent. As you can see, GPS is not the best. There is an interesting thing here under the satellite number. It shows another number, so now it has 13 satellites and it says 1.33. I think that is the precision, because when I have started the quadcopter with no signal, it has shown 99.9. So I think that's the accuracy of the GPS. So with 13 satellites it has 1.33 meters. So that should explain the position hold, which is not extremely accurate. And it also has a bit of punch, if you can call that a punch. It does get to some altitude pretty fast. I'm now at 41% battery. I think that I'm going to bring it closer, because this thing will probably auto land or automatically return to home. I don't know that yet, but we'll see. I'm going to fly this until the battery drops to 0. I don't recommend you doing this, not only because you can lose your quadcopter, but discharging the battery to 0 puts extra stress on it, and it will decrease its lifespan a lot. So deep discharges will use the battery life a lot more than partial discharges. I am now at only the second part of the video recording is at almost 8 minutes, and this thing is still flying, 37% battery. That is really good, really good. So this thing is a small champ when it comes to flight time. And I like the fact that being so small, you can actually fly it around things with no issues. You can use it as a small camera. Of course, this thing is not a racer, but you can also enjoy a bit of speed with it. and as soon as you release the sticks, this thing will drift a bit, and then we'll lock into position. Now I have 14 satellites, and the second number has went to 1.21 meters. I think that those are meters for the accuracy, so the accuracy has increased, so this thing should hold position better now. So let's bring it closer. Alright, and I'm releasing the controls, and yes, it now hovers better. It still has a bit of, but at 1 and something meters, 1 meter, it's this large, so it's normal for it to wobble. So I'm now at almost 10 minutes of video recording, and I have 27% battery. I'm going to stop the video recording to save it, because usually when batteries die on this type of quadcopters, they crash the video recording, and I don't want to do that. I just want to have a full video recording, and I'm going to take some pictures. I'm going to play with it a bit some more. I'm going to add, of course, some of the pictures. I'm going to add them into the video and onto my Facebook page if you want to see them. Okay, so warning, battery low. It will auto land if battery lower than 50%. I now have 20%, so let's bring it back to me. Come back. Right. And I don't know if I want to auto land it because of the tall grass for this small quadcopter. So I'm at 14%. Yes, it's auto landing, and I did catch it. So it is at 14% now, and it started to go down. It's nice. You still have controls like forward, backward, left, right, or yaw, but throttle is not going up, it's only going down. So you can catch this, and it will auto land in your hand. Take of course care of the propellers. So there you go. Impressive for this small size, such a long flight time. The motors are warm but not hot. Of course, it's cold outside. It's there are something like 18 degrees now. The battery is rather warm, so video recording is now stopped. I'm going to turn off the quadcopter now. Okay, so it is off, and if I remove the battery, the battery is a good hand warmer, but nothing extreme, so that's nice. It's good. So this aircraft is connected. Yes, I know. So there you go, that was it. I hope that you have enjoyed the flight test of the Fairy. I'm going to fly this also indoor to get some footage and to get a feel of the optical flow positioning system, but until now I really like how it flies outdoor. It is an interesting choice for a selfie drone, and hopefully the camera is also performing good. Until my next video, see you and bye bye.